Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 191. Now this week I've really been hammering away at tournee. I managed to get it live this morning, which is a huge moment for me, and I'm very, very pleased with that. I've got 2 weeks until Ardacon and it needed to be done so that I had time to bed in before we all go to the event. So now I'm watching my emails and watching the logs and panicking a bit, but it's live and it seems so far to be holding up, so we shall hope. But that's taken a lot of time. Other than that, I have tried to get some hobbying in, obviously in preparation for Angela and Rosie getting back, which they did safely. And yeah, it's been really lovely having them here. It's good to all be together again. But yes, I have got some hobbying done. I'm not sure how long this video is going to take. I'm recording this intro before I've done any editing, which I don't normally do, but we shall find that out together. But I think that there's a fair bit that I've got done. Often when I feel like I've not done much, I have done a lot. Anyway, enough rambling. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Do leave a comment below, let me know what you think. I love those comments, they really inspire me and keep me going, so don't be shy, do say hello, and I will see you again at the end. Well, my first attempt at putting up failed a little bit, though I think I can save it. My spirit level was slightly off, and you can see that I've drilled the hole there, and then the line just to the left of it is where it should have been. So that's a huge shame, so I'm going to have to drill that out, use bigger plugs, but I should be able to get that done later. However, last night I didn't film then because I was too tired of it. When I finished it, I managed to get this one up using a different technique where I balanced the bit of wood up and then drilled the first pilot holes through my screw guide holes, took it down and then drilled in. I did use dowels for this rather than wall plugs just to make it a bit of a larger target, but that went up really well, really quickly. I'm very, very pleased with it. So the gap in the middle is going to be where I frame and put the obituary from the paper, so that'll be that, but that's up. So the plan will be to get that done here, maybe later today, I'm not sure, but as soon as possible, and hopefully that'll be able to be saved nice and easily. But I'm pretty pleased with how that looks. I sent a picture to my mum and she loved it, so that's good. Just these little things getting done. I know that it's not strictly hobby, but it is kind of, and it does take away from my hobby time doing these things, so I thought I'd just bring you along for this quick little diversion. Well, just now I've managed to get the second one up using the same technique and it worked, so I'm very, very happy. And as you can see, this is where the thing from her funeral is going to go. I'll get that framed and put and actually hung there. So I've got both up. So there's one there and then one on the other side of this bookcase, and that will have, as I say, the obituary. What I have to do now is unwrap all of these thimbles because obviously I can't leave them in the tissue paper. But what I think I might do is just do one of each day and just sit down. If you see, my library has my super comfy chair in the corner, Daddy's chair, oh yes. And I could just sit there, take one down, sit there for a morning or in the afternoon or sometime and just think about my nana and do each thimble at a time and not take any rush over it. I've got Sigmar and Xena having a play. They have a ring. So that's what the growling is. Yeah, so I could just take my time and unwrap them as I go, and then over a week or 10 days it'll get done. So there we are, super satisfied, very pleased I got that finished. They've been in the box for 4 years, so now we can actually start to display them, and I'm really pleased. And all I have to do now is get those framed, and I'll do that as soon as Angela's back. She knows the framer, so she can go and get the two things framed really easily, and then I'll mount those, and I'll probably show you what it looks like when it's all unwrapped and the actual framing has been done as well. Alright, so as you can see, I've done the trees. I'm really happy with how it looks, and I'm going to do the next step. And the next step is I'm actually going to paint the entire thing brown. Now, it's not going to end up brown because, as you can see, we've got a yellow sandy path, and we've got grass, and we've got going to have a slightly darker brown trees than the brown I'm going to use. But it's just going to give a good undercoat to basically cover everything in brown, I think. So I've got a big brush because that makes it more efficient. And yeah, I'm just going to slap that on. Now, the next step after this, I've been thinking about the texture of the path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my grout mix. So it's been a little while since I've used that, so it's going to be nice to get that back on the channel and demonstrate how that works. But yes, I'm going to use the grout mix, and I've got some really nice grout mix which will give a really good colour, base colour, for that yellow to then be layered over the top. So yeah, it won't take me very long, as you can see, with this big brush. And once that's done, I'll let it dry, see if there's anything I want to touch up and add more paint to. If not, then I'll bring back and do the grout mix with you then. So let's get the rest of this done, and I'll turn the camera back on when I come to the next step. Alright, so as you can see, we put a lot of weights in there. So what I'm going to do now is pull them out and make sure that's all stuck down right. Should have done. I've left it several days, been quite busy doing other things. And then when I pulled them out, then what I'll do is I'm going to get stuck into starting to do the gold on the front and the red wallpaper, that's the word, on the sides. So yeah, first of all, let's pull these weights out. Well, I kind of started looking at this and then peeled some of the back off, and then just had to crack on and do it all. But as you can see, I've managed to get the first strip stuck on, and it was actually okay. It wasn't too bad. I just couldn't really stop to then turn the camera on. So what I'm going to need to do is cut down here and then cut along here just to make sure that it opens. But I'm probably going to do that after I've got the next strip on. I might cut along here a bit just to start it so I can see where it is. But yeah, so I'll turn the camera on again when I'm doing the next cut, when I'm doing the next strip, so you can see how I do it. I'm actually wondering whether I'll have enough to do the whole sheet, the whole thing. So I'm not sure. We'll see. But there is more than I bought more than I realised. But anyway, I'll turn the camera back on very shortly when I'm just about to do this next strip. Right, so let's see how well I do this. So it cuts really easily just with a sharp knife. So that's how I've been slicing it with the sharp knife and with the safety ruler. And the way that I'm working it is, started off, which was really easy when I didn't have the camera running, but now it's proven to be a bit of a pain. Come on. Tell you what, I'll just skip over this bit and there we are. So we started off, just get the start of the backing peeled off like that, and then hopefully I'm not getting too much in the camera's way, but I'm focusing more on getting this done than filming. So then we line this up straight and get it pressed down as straight as we can. Is that straight? Yes. So once we've got it started, then it's a case of keeping a good tension in it and peeling, and then every now and then stopping and pressing it down and keeping going. It's probably the process that people do when they wrap cars, and I can tell you what, I'm glad that I don't wrap cars. So we just peel it off like this and then press it down and then peel it. Try not to leave any bubbles. I've got a problem with where the door is, obviously, so I will have to go around inside and hold the door up where I press it down. There we are. And there it is. Right, hopefully that was obvious. Hopefully you could see what I did. So now, I did start cutting. Oh, it tore. That's not what we want. It's very thin. It's like a foil almost.
annoying. I'll have to try and sort that out. You almost can't cut through it, you almost have to push down rather than cutting. There we are. Oh, and then we'll do this. And there we are. We have a door with a slight bit of damage, but I should be able to repair that either with an extra bit that I can take. I can patch it maybe, or even that might stay. We'll see. This is out of my comfort zone levels of work. This is not the sort of thing I'm very good at normally, but you do what you want to do for your daughter, don't you, I suppose? So yeah, nearly done. And then we'll have a look and see whether we want to do the rest of it gold or whether we want to do the rest of it red. But I certainly know I want the inside of the doors to be red for a contrast. Absolutely perfect. There we are. We have a gold front to our puppet theatre, and Rosie will love that. I think. I hope. She better do. Right, so I'm probably not going to film this, but I've mixed up some paste, some wallpaper paste, which I've never done before, and I've opened up my roll of wallpaper. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to put it on the back. Not going to do the sides. When I've done the back, I'll lift it up on its side and then stick the sides on, cut it to shape, and then I'll do the second stripe. But I'm not going to film this because this is going to be really awkward and I don't want to have to worry about camera shots. So I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Well, that both was easier and harder than I expected it to be. I've managed to get one wrap on. I'm going to let that dry, just make sure it actually works before I put the effort to do the other one. But as you can see, I only needed a small strip for the next one. I did spill some glue on the floor, which Xena is currently licking. Aren't you, Xena? You're being very silly, aren't you? Aren't you, Xena Z? Yes, licking glue. I don't know. Anyway, so I have to mop that up. But yeah, it went okay. I did overlap, as you can see, so I can cut that back. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be all right. So yeah, leave that dry overnight, see what it looks like in the morning. Right, that first colour went on okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sculpt some rocks. So I'm going to put a rock here, a rock here, a rock here, one back here, and a small one in here. Because, yeah, that's what I need. So I've opened a new pack of the air dry clay. I have some white air dry clay, which is going to be a bit better for this. So the same as before. And what I'm going to use, I'm going to basically just mould it into a shape. Bit of PVA where I want to stick it, which is going to be about here. Just spread that around and then stick my rock in place. Once that's dry, I can then start to, I'm going to hear the dogs barking, shush, shush, Zena. Once that's dry, then I will be able to come along and do the next stage of the painting. So yeah, Thelma is getting a little bit angry because she wants to come in because it's just started raining and that dog does not like rain. Right, there we are. But anyway, so as simple as that, and they can be painted grey quite nicely on top of that. So it won't take me very long, so I'll get this done. I'll go and let Thelma in. Bless her heart. Tell you what, I won't pour water on, that shows how distracted I am by Thelma whiffling outside. Yeah, I'll go and get Thelma in as well. It's not fair, leaving her out in the rain. Poor little pup. She's never liked rain, that dog. There we are, a couple of rocks. Looking good. One more behind here. Small one there. And then I promise I'll go and get Thelma. There we are, let that dry now. Well, I've managed to wrap this entirely, well, as much as I'm going to for now anyway, in the wallpaper, and that's worked out really well, as you can see. I got better at it as I practiced. First time I mixed it up, adding water a little at a time. That's not how you work with wallpaper paste. Just slap all the water in you're going to, because otherwise it becomes lumpy. But I managed to wrap around the second one onto the flaps. So when I seal this up, it'll obviously, these will be on the inside, and I'll be able to get another sheet basically going over here, which will then seal the whole thing off. So that's really good. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to go do the inside, so that when we open these doors, we have, I think, red on the inside. Now I'm undecided whether I'm going to do that with wrapping paper or whether I'm going to get some red paint on it. The reason why I'm thinking about that is it's already a little hard to open these, and I need to come up with some way of making them stay open, as I've said before. And if I start wrapping paper around the inside, it's just going to make that even more difficult. So that's what I really need to do next, but probably I'm going to actually start on the legs, which I really do need to do, because she's not going to be able to use this as it stands, because it's going to be too close to the ground, and it's too big really to sit on any of our tables and allow her access to those slots. So yeah, so I'm going to start thinking about the legs. I'm not sure how I'm going to actually connect them to the base at the bottom, but I'm going to have a bit of a think now. So yeah, either painting the inside of the doors or doing the legs, but I'll bring you along when I get to the next step. But I'm pretty pleased with how it's coming along so far. She gets home tomorrow, so hopefully she will like it, and yeah, we'll see what she says. So first idea, which might not work, but I'm not sure, we'll find out, is these old camping chairs. Now the idea here is that they'll be able to collapse themselves, so it won't take up too much space. But I don't know if it will work. The first idea I had, which isn't going to work, is these big Bosch boxes. They're just too deep, and they don't give enough real space in the middle, but I'm not sure whether these other ones are going to work, the chairs are going to work. I also could use some wood. I've got this here, this chipboard that came in as packing, actually, funny enough. And I do actually, at the bottom of the stairs, have some more cardboard boxes, if that will now focus and lighten and what have you. There it is, some more cardboard boxes that could work as legs, but I'm not sure, so I might have a look at those as well. But first of all, these are broken basically. They're not going to be able to sit on them anymore. They've basically disintegrated. So I'm going to try and take the actual material off and see whether I can make use of the legs. And if I can't, then I will come up with another idea and bring you along for that. I'm still not entirely convinced this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. So what I've done is cut down some of the wood, and I'm going to attach the closed together legs, one at each end. I'll probably bind them together using wire or tape or something. I'm not sure how I'm going to bind them together at the moment. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to glue and screw. Well, I was talking all the way through that and my microphone wasn't turned on, so let me just quickly catch you up on what I've just done. 2-minute clip, that'll probably just be music. So I've glued and screwed this on the end, and I've put the super sticky glue on to try and hold it. And what I was just muttering about was potentially putting a screw through here and a screw through on this side, just to kind of hold that other one in place. I don't know if this is going to work. It might do, it feels like it might, but yeah, I'm just going to give it a go. So what I'm going to do now is go and get another couple of screws, screw that on, see how solid I feel it is, and if I'm happy with how solid it is, then I'll put. Right, here we are to the bomb site, which I need to clear up because today Andrew and Rosie get back. I need this to look a little bit better. Had all sorts of trouble with my microphone yesterday.
so not entirely sure how much, I've not checked yet, how much of the audio got recorded, but basically I made an attempt using those legs that are now over there, and as you can see, I backed away from it. I decided it wasn't going to be stable enough, and I'll save those for another project, so I just undid everything I did. What I've gone for, I think this is what I'm going to end up using, are these Thomann boxes. So we've got one here, and we've got one here. So yesterday evening I took the PVA glue and I glued them all back together. So this is why we've got weights on them. So I've glued them so that they're hollow boxes, and that now should be dry because I did that last night. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount them on top of this, or this on top of it. Now what I have found is that wallpaper paste, it warps like a demon. I mean these are massively warped. They weren't warped yesterday, but they're warped now. So that's an interesting lesson learned. Not that it really matters on this, but yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that they're glued, and then just for now probably just sit this on top of those. I'm not sure whether I'll end up just sitting them on or whether I'll end up attaching them, but probably for now I'll just end up sitting on, because what I'm going to need to do is at least the front one I'm going to need to put more wallpaper around it so that it doesn't say Thomann, and so that it looks a little bit more like like the front of the theatre. So yeah, I'll get that all lifted, get it set in place, show what it looks like, and then use some more paper just to probably, I'm going to have the wider one at the front, so there's going to be a little lip, because that might be how I mount something which will hold the doors open. Anyway, getting close to good enough for when they get back, and that's all that matters. Let's crack on with this. Well, there we are. That will support it fine, and it's nice and stable. There's space inside there for Rosie to kind of climb underneath and put her puppies up. And yeah, pretty pleased with how that looks right now, to be honest. So as I said, I'm going to quickly mix up some more paste and wallpaper that bottom box, and that's probably all I'll get time for before they get back, but at least it will look pretty good when they do. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll try and record Rosie's response if I can get to her and get this set up before she sees it, because she'll probably be in here like a whirlwind. But anyway, I'll try and get that if I can. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the rocks grey. So this will take 2 applications of the grey, and the reason I'm doing this now is I'm going to be able to blend in using flocks and other stuff rather than painting the grey on top and then potentially doing it last would not work. So first of all we're going to paint the dark grey and then let that dry, which won't take very long in this temperature. And then I'll come along with a lighter grey and just kind of like probably speckle it on a bit rather than paint it. So dab it on to give a little bit of a speckled effect of lighter grey. So yeah, won't take long, get this done, and then we can start working on the grout for the path. That lovely yellow colour. And yes, I know I still need to do the mouse. I should probably get that started soon, to be fair. Right, I will bring it back when I come to do the light colour grey, once this is dried in an hour or so. So what I'm doing now, as I say, just come along with the lighter grey. I'm just kind of like speckling on top of these just to give a little bit more texture. I don't want to do too much. So yeah, once that's all dried, I will be able to come along and start doing the rest of the texture on the whole piece, which I'm quite excited about. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So next up, we'll mix up some grout mix and do the path. Well, it's been a little while since I've done this, so let's do this on camera. I'm going to make up my special grout mix, which I really like using. So what you do is you take
some grout. This is the stuff that you put between tiles, like the tiles that are on the floor here, to seal that gap. And then this is sifted sand from my back garden. So it's very, very fine sand. And then reaching over, I put a load of PVA in. Now the reason I add PVA is it adds some flexibility, so it's not going to shatter, because on its own, what I've found that grout often, if you don't add PVA just to give it that little bit of flexibility, it will become quite brittle when it dries. And then a little bit of water. And I have done a video specifically on this, which is linked in the description of every single one of my videos. But yeah, the thing that I say most clearly is it's a little bit hydrophobic, if you can see that. It doesn't really want to mix with the water. So you have to fold it and fold it and fold it until finally it starts to combine. And you don't need very much water at all. You look at it initially and you think, oh, I haven't got enough water, I haven't got enough water. But then keep mixing and you'll see that we're getting a really nice paste. And that there, even though I haven't done this for such a long time, is pretty much perfect. Really good texture. So I use old brushes for doing this, which I don't care about anymore because the grit and the glue and everything can stick in the brush and be quite hard to wash out. But you do then just paint it on. Now another little top tip, if you're going to do this, is if you make too much or you want to save it, if you stick it in a fridge and cover it, it actually does last for quite a long time. I mean, not for months, but for several days, so you can, like, you know, not waste materials, because who wants to waste anything? So anyway, I'm going to get this painted on. Don't know if I'll need to do 2 coats, but I'm going to try and get all of the track covered at least once, and then let it just set. Doesn't take long to dry this stuff, and then when I've seen how it looks, I'll decide if I'm going to do a second coat or not, and I'll let you know. But yeah, it's just as you can see, gives a little bit of a texture, and it's also, this is a nice colour that similar to what I'm attempting to mimic. So yeah, pretty happy with this. Let's turn the camera off. I'm muttering. I'll bring you back when I get to the next step. So they got back safely, which is awesome, and I've done no hobbying since I got back because I've been spending time with Rosie. But she brought me a gift, which is lovely. I always buy her fridge magnets wherever I go. She loves putting magnets on the fridge, and so she's brought me a fridge magnet, which is from Dublin. She saw it in Dublin Airport and said, I'll get that for Daddy. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that lovely? I think that's actually possibly the first gift that she's ever picked herself up for me that I know of. So yeah, really cool. So I'll put that on my fridge in room 13 in my office, and I'll smile every time I look at it. I just wanted to share that. Right, my grout extras worked really well, but I'm going to need to do another application. As you can see, it's cracked a little bit. It's very, very warm here, so I'm probably going to wait until this evening to do the next coat, so that then it will dry overnight when it's cooler. But also it's shrunk into the texture below, which I didn't want it to do. So I'll just put another skim over that and that should work fine. So yeah, but it's coming on nicely this now. I've got 2 weeks until I go to Ardacon, so I really needed this finished by then because I don't want to have this hanging over me for when I get back. I'm very busy when I get back from Ardacon as well. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with this over the next couple of weeks and hopefully finish it. But it is coming on really nicely, and it certainly looks, I'm looking at it, and it is a good approximation to what I see in the art on the book. Well, there we are, nearly half an hour, which is a pretty good length, I think, not too bad at all, and some fun projects worked on. Really pleased to have had the reaction from Rosie to the puppet theatre. She really likes it. I didn't get the any video or photographs because yeah, it just happened when they came back and I was much more focused on them than remembering to get the camera out. But hopefully today Angela and Rosie are going to start working on the backdrop. That's the plan. They're going to work on that together, so that's going to be their contribution together to the project. I need to go out and get some more wrapping paper for it. So all of that you'll see in the next week's vlog. So yeah, pretty cool. But she does like it, though it's a bit low. So I'm trying to work out how to make it higher again. This legs thing has got legs. It's proving hard. Anyway, that's enough rambling on about that for now.
you'll find out more about how I solve it next week, as will I. Thanks for watching, particularly if you got this far and if you put up with that, I appreciate it. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I do love reading them, as I said in the intro, they really do mean a lot to me. So yeah, don't be shy, do say hello and let me know your thoughts or anything like that. And also don't forget, I didn't work on it this week, but don't forget the name for the Warg. I've had quite a few suggestions now, so keep them coming, pop them in the comments below. And I'll pick the best one probably next week. So that you've got another week to go to put comments on this video, and then I'll be picking the name that I want to do. So I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do at the moment, if any of you are impacted either directly or indirectly by the horrific war in Ukraine, then my thoughts do go out to you and anyone you know who may be in that horrible situation. Just can't believe it's still going on. Just beyond belief, crazy. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.